Hey, push partners, how are you guys doing? It's Monday. Did you have a great weekend? I did. I had an amazing weekend. It was just what the doctor ordered. For those of you who don't know me, hey, J Bats, James, Total Bart, Ender, welcome, welcome, welcome. Guys, do me a favor. Hit the three dots and invite. Let people know that we're on. Pacer, so glad to see you. Babalo, thank you for joining. Just a guy, welcome, welcome, welcome. Matt, Timothy, Lyle. Guys, I'm trying to get the names in as fast as I can. Some of them, I'm missing them. Chris, you, what's up? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Oh, you're a U of M Tiger? Guess what? I was a U of M Tiger and so proud of it. See, okay, you're over here on Facebook. You're normally on Periscope. Don't be trying to take me for a loop now. Guys, thank you for joining. Thank you for hanging out with me. I am Dr. Cheryl Payne. I'm your push partner. I'm here pushing you, positioning you, and pulling for you to live a lifestyle of love, power, wealth, and freedom. I am so excited. Every time I say that, I get so excited because you cannot convince me that I cannot and I will not have a lifestyle of love, power, wealth, and freedom. I believe success is yours for the taking if you really want it. And so I want it. And so I go get it. And so those of us who know that we're in this community together, that's what it's all about, pushing and helping each other to give birth and life to our dreams. COK says, you don't know where you are. You better find out. Looks like you're over here on Facebook Live and not on Periscope tonight, but welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you guys for joining. Angelo, so glad to see you. Thank you for joining. Thank you guys for hanging out. Today we're talking about, is your pride ruining your life? Guys, I cannot wait to talk about this. I'm not going to be on here long at all because guess what? My batteries are low on my cell phone as well as my iPad. So I cannot hang out with you guys long at all tonight. But guess what? I'm a woman of my word. And so it is so important to me that I keep my word and I do what I say I'm going to do and that you can depend upon me. Depend on me. See, okay, you're throwing me off. Okay, so now you're over here on Periscope. But welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you guys for the hearts that are coming through. You're absolutely amazing because that's the only way that people know that we share great content. It's because of the hearts. And so I appreciate that because I definitely want to help as many people as I possibly can to change their lives and live the life that I believe that you're supposed to live. Curtis Brooks, welcome. Bourbon, welcome. Thank you guys for hitting the three dots and inviting people onto the scope who are interested in what we're talking about. Gordo, shake your waffle. Mentor, welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you guys so much for hitting the three dots. Thank you for inviting. Keith, so glad to see you as well. You guys are absolutely the best. Today we're talking about something that's so important to me, and that is your pride ruining your life? And I asked the question because I know that pride can be before the fall. And so I'm doing well. Thank you, Diesel. So glad to see you. I know that, the pride can come before your fall and your destruction. And so I want to just kind of talk about that today. Is your pride ruining your life? And I asked the question because I certainly believe that it can do exactly that. I believe that your pride can get you into a lot of trouble. And so often we don't realize that. So often we're here, we're thinking, hey, wanting to pray. So often we think that we are, guys, give me just a moment because I think I have just messed up. Give me a moment to get reset here. Okay, give me just a moment. Let me see what I got going on. Okay. Here we go. Hey there. Okay, sweet. I don't know why I did that. You know what? I think I'm just out of it because I've been so busy running, today. I have had so much going on. I've had meeting after meeting after meeting, and also trying to keep my word and do some other things. So I think I just kind of screwed up. So I'm trying to get reset here today. So give me just a moment. Okay, sweet. Amen. Okay, so we're talking today about, is your pride ruining your life? You know, pride can absolutely ruin your life, and it can actually destroy you. And some of us, we have so much pride and we don't even realize. Okay, sweet guys. Perfect. I don't know what happened there. So sorry about that for those of you who saw that I hopped off of one and got on the other. Thank you guys for the hearts. Thank you for inviting. But anyway, we're talking about can your pride ruin your life? You know, so many times we need things from people, but for whatever reason, we are afraid to ask. For those of you who are joining, my name is Dr. Sherilyn Payne. I'm your push partner. I'm here pushing you, positioning you, and pulling for you to live a lifestyle of love, power, wealth, and freedom. Today we're talking about, is your pride running your life? Is your pride hindering your ability to be successful? And I know for so many people it can do just that. You don't want to ask people for help, and you really, really need their help. And your lack of asking, your your desire to not ask, to not put yourself out there. Maybe it's fear. Maybe you don't like to be rejected. Maybe you don't like to, be hurt. Maybe you don't want to be disappointed. Maybe you're always asking people to do something for you and they never ever help you. I definitely have been there. There are so many people who I have helped. And if I were to ask them to help me do anything or to support me, guess what? Unfortunately, they would not be there. But the beauty is that I have moved them around. I have repositioned them, like I say. And I understand that relationships are not all about reciprocity. You do something for me and I'm going to do something for you. But I do believe, though, that if I show up for you every single time, every now and then, you should be able to show up for your girl. Now, if you can't show up for me every now and then I have to think about where you are in my life. And I may need to reposition you and put you in a different place that you don't really want to be in. And that's something to think about. But for some of us, maybe you're scared. I know I have some people who I just want to ask them anything because I know that whenever you ask them something, the answer is always no. I know, oh yeah, Curtis, I'm over here. I know that whenever you ask them something, the answer is no. But I know that those are the people who are so quick to ask you for something. But I also believe this, that what you sow, you also shall reap. And so maybe you won't get it from the people who you're asking to help you, or the people who you've helped rather, but somebody will be there to help you. And I am so happy. I'll just kind of give you a quick, some quick little tips or quick story rather I'll share with you. Hey there, JDK, of what I am, hey, Yvonne, of what I've actually been going through the past couple of weeks. And so last week I was working on something that was just taking a lot of time, and I wasn't really inspired to do it, but I knew I needed to get it done. And so on 4th of July, while everybody else is eating barbecue, guess what your girl was doing? I was at home grinding, working, determined, dedicated, hard work, disciplined, focused. I was actually living the principles that I teach about, living the principles that I talk about, because I know that success does require sacrifice, and people don't want to hear that. They think that you're successful and that it just comes. They don't realize that it requires a lot of sacrifice to be successful. You don't just roll up and be successful. You put in some work. And so on 4th of July, I was doing something and I was determined that, I've been procrastinating and I haven't gotten it done. And so this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to throw it out there. I'm going to work on it today. Hey, thank you so much, Official. And so I said, I'm going to work on this today, Official. And I am going to get this to, a place where I can actually send it off to the person who it needs to go to. But I was talking to a friend girl of mine, someone who I'm actually developing a friendship with, and she asked me, what are you doing today? And I said, I'm grinding. I'm over here, I'm going hard in the paint. I am determined to get this done. I understand the grind and the hustle. And so I have committed that I'm not leaving here. I'm not doing anything until I get this done today. Jessica, Juanita, so glad to see you. And so I'm stuck. I'm pretty much stuck because I got to get this done. I said, and I really need somebody to look at this. But it's 4th of July. And so who's going to be willing to do some work with me on 4th of July? And so we kind of started laughing. She said, why don't you send it? What do you need? And I told her, I just need some insight. I need your honest opinion. I need feedback. I need you to be brutally honest, extremely critical. Hey there, Kevin, 188. And I need for you to just kind of tell me what it is. It's either some crap or it works or it doesn't, or move some things around. But if you can just kind of have another set of eyes on this, that's going to help me, because I'm not putting my thoughts together the way that I would really like to. And so this is what my objective is. And so I sent this document to her and she read it and she said, I would love to help you. If you send it to me, I would love to help you. I'll read it right now. I'll give you some feedback. And I'll just do it right now, 4th of July. And so I said, oh, what else you got going on? She said, I'm here trying to take care of my sick daughter and nurse her back to health. She had surgery last week, and then I'm going to throw some food on the grill. But if you send it to me, I'll do it before I do all that and get busy. And so anytime you need another set of eyes, she said, I know what it's like to be in that situation, in that place. And I will definitely be able to help you. Kelvin Collins, so glad to see you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And so I sent the document to her, and she actually read over the document, read over the article. It was rather long. Gave me some feedback, made some changes, called me and said, hey, I sent this back to you. If you have a few minutes, let's talk about it. And I said, absolutely. And so we spent a couple of hours just kind of working on this document and talking about why it was formulated this way, why was it written this way, what was my objective, what was I trying to do, and just kind of getting aligned in our thoughts. And we got it to a really good place. Well, I decided absolutely it was constructive. She was like on point because she got me to think about some things. And I also got her to think about some things of why I said this and what, and so looking at the totality of it, how was it going to be? And so we said, oh, so glad to see you. Thank you so much, Kelvin. And so we talked about it and got it to a great place. And then here it is, Friday. I decide, you know what? I want to make some changes to this again. I was proud of the place where we had it in, but some other thoughts started coming to me. I said, I want to make some more changes. So I made more changes and sent it back to her. And she said, hey, I got some long meetings today. I've been up since 2 o'clock in the morning for a presentation that I'm going to have at work today. And so I'm going to look at it when I get off work. Is that okay? Hey there, Sasha Michelle. And I said, yeah, sure, absolutely. So sure enough, she held true to her word. She gave me some feedback about it and said, this is great. I love what you've done with this. It's very inspirational, very motivational. It's really well written. It's in a really good spot. So I thought, wow, and so that was me just asking for some help or letting somebody know that I needed some help. Instead of sitting here and just being in a place being stagnant because I wasn't willing to put my pride aside because she could have said no or anyone could have said no. And I could have still been sitting here on this instead of getting it done. Miss Demia, so glad to see you. And so that was awesome. I felt really good about that. Well, guess what else happened? I went to a meeting today, had a very, very important meeting that kind of came up at the last minute. And so I'm sitting here and get this email that says, hey, we need you to come and to talk about XYZ. Can you come? It's going to be in a few hours, and this is what we need you to talk about. And I said, oh, wow, crap, what am I going to do? Because I'm on chill mode, really, to be completely honest, because I was working on something else that I needed to get done. And I really didn't have the time or attention to get this. Absolutely, closed mouths don't get fed. I love that line. Of course, we hear it all the time, but I love when I hear it in the Players Club. I was going to save that for later. Alex, so glad to see you. And so anyway, we were sitting there. I'm sitting there, and I'm looking at this email that came across. And I said, okay, crap. These people need me to come in, about 4 hours and kind of present on this particular topic. What can I do? Can I do it? Yeah, I got capacity. I could really do it. And so I said, well, let me kind of get my thoughts together. And so what am I going to do? So I put my thoughts together really fast and put together a presentation, threw it together. And I said, who can I call that's going to give me some real hard, critical feedback? Picked up the phone, called someone who I really didn't even know that person really well, but I knew that this person has made themselves available to me and said, hey, if you ever need my help with anything, I am more than willing to help you. And so I, called and said, hey, can I come by your office? I need to kind of have somebody to look at this presentation. Tell me what you think. Give me some thoughts. Let me present my information. And you just kind of give me a critical eye here. And the person said, absolutely, absolutely. Come on by. So I, got in my car, got over there, let the person look at the information rather. And it went perfectly. The meeting went off without a hitch. Same thing earlier as well. I asked someone to look at something and that meeting went very well. But even before I even got to this point, there was something else I was working on, a huge project that I needed to get done. And there were some pieces that I just didn't have. I needed to connect the dots and just was doing some research on the internet. Hey there, Jeremy, Wichita, so glad to see you. And I just couldn't find the information that I needed. And so I began to pick up the phone and reach out to people who I really didn't know, set up lunch meetings, set up dinner meetings to get the information that I needed to be successful. And reality is we have to ask ourselves, are you willing to ask people for help? Because this is what I found just this past month or two alone. I've asked probably more people for help in the last couple of months than I think I have my entire life, to be completely honest. But guess what? I do know that when you're working on something huge and you're working on something major, you're going to have to ask for help. If it's bigger than you, and it's something that God is in the details and he's in the plan and he's orchestrated, you need help. You cannot do it by yourself. And so you're going to have to make those connections and build those relationships and put yourself out there and take some risk and not necessarily worry yourself about what could possibly happen. You're going to be in a situation sometime, Westwood, where you're going to have to say, this is bigger than me. This is huger than me. This is larger than me. Who do I have in my Rolodex that I can actually put myself aside? Paul, what's up? That I can actually put my pride to the side and absolutely and be vulnerable. And when you're vulnerable, what I found is that people want to help you. They genuinely want to help you. And there are some people who I've asked for some help, several times, even just today alone. And every single person that I asked for help was willing to help me. Now, this is what I'm also going to tell you. The people who have been helping me on my journey have not been people who I have had close relationships with. And so what I found is that sometimes you may have to go and ask for help outside of your immediate circle. Your immediate circle of your friends and people who know you best, they may say, no, I'm not willing to help. No, I can't do that. Brush it off. Don't get all in your feelings. Just realize that that's just who they are and they see you in a different way. And I say that because even today, I asked them to do something so small, nothing compared to what I was asking these other people to do. And the person would just kind of brush it off and didn't really offer the help or didn't really want to help. But that was okay. So I kept moving and, said, it's not for this person to participate in my success story. It's for these other people to be a willing participant in my success story. And when people have asked me to help them, guess what I normally do? If it's someone who I know is genuinely a good person, someone who I really want to help, I'm absolutely willing to help them. And so, yeah, you're right. Your friends usually know what you know. And so you have to figure out who's in your success circle. Who can you go to for what items? Who's going to be beneficial for this particular thing? Because the person who wasn't willing to help me, guess what? They had the audacity to ask me, well, who do you get to do this? And who's helping you do this? And who's helping you do that? And how did you find them? You're asking for my information, but you don't want to put yourself out there to help me in this one little small area that I'm asking you to help. But that's okay. I can give you the information. No big deal. But I do know, though, that, you have to be willing to cast your pride aside. You got to let your ego get out the way, because you have this ego, then your ego can be detrimental to your success. Your ego can be detrimental to your life. Your ego can absolutely stand in your way, and you can find yourself not living that dream life of love, power, wealth, and freedom because you are so in your feelings. When you're on that road to success, you got to develop some thick skin. You got to say, you know what? Who cares what they think? If they say no, I'm on to the next one, because what I'm not going to do is allow this to hinder my success. On my grind to the top, who cares who said no? What about all the people who said yes? Who cares about the time that my feelings got hurt? Because sometimes it's there to see, do you still really want it? Are you still willing to grind? Are you still willing to get back on the saddle? Are you still willing to get back in the game when people have disappointed you, when they've let you down, when you say, I ain't asking nobody for nothing? That's exactly what the devil and the enemy and your haters want you to do. They want you to get all in your feelings. So you can say, I ain't asking nobody for nothing. And reality is that if you're not asking for anything and the project is large or whatever you're working on, it's huge, then you are going to be in for a rude awakening. And you're going to be very disappointed when you get there. And as I like to say, when you make it to heaven, if you make it, and hell surely is this place. When you get there and you see this little door and they say, open that door, because that's everything you could have had you worked for it, Had you been willing to have the right resources? Have you been willing to connect with the right people? Had you put your pride and your ego to the side? This is exactly what you could have had. Now, some people say, you know what, that's okay. But for me, that would be a living hell if I were to able to see what I could have had I gotten out of my feelings, had I not been worried about the wrong things, had I realized that, you know what, I got to develop some thick skin. I got to be able to shake and brush some things off. I've got to have tunnel vision. I've got to be focused like a laser. I've got to move on to the next one. I've got to identify those right resources. You know, what is it that you need to do to get out of your own way and to say, you know what, my pride is not going to keep me from this. My pride is not going to help me stand in the way of getting what I really want. I was having an interesting conversation with a friend of mine just last week. And it was really interesting because I was telling her about this person who I used to go out with years ago. And the person, I'm going to keep it 100, decided to marry somebody else instead of hollering at your girl. And so my feelings were hurt. Now, I wasn't in love with the person, but I did think that, you know what, you shouldn't get married because maybe, just maybe, we can really seriously date and see what actually happens. But the person chose to get married. Cool. And because I didn't know that the person was even in a relationship and dating someone when he told me that he was getting married, imagine how crazy that was, that, you know, I said, you know what, I would hella freeze over before I ever in life entertained this person ever again. Well, imagine my surprise just last week when the person said, hey, I am interested in dating you because things have changed. I'm no longer in that situation. That situation is not the same for me. And so once I got my head totally clear, then I want to see about dating you. And I was talking to my friend, and I was like, it ain't no way in hell I would go out ever in life with somebody who chose somebody over me. Ain't happening, not going to happen, no way, no how. And so my friend said, you know, don't let your pride stand in the way of you being really happy. Because what if this is the person who God has designed just for you and you decided not to entertain them because your pride was in the way and because they, in your mind, chose someone else over you instead of this person was being used to develop this man potentially for the husband he could be to you. So what if you allowed your pride to sit in the way and he really is your soulmate and you really could be happy together? And she said, so I want to caution you from taking that approach, from saying, you know what, I will never date him because he did X, Y, Z. And I was like, oh, that's good. I don't know about that, but it does sound good because, you know, I got pride. And so I can't be letting you out here in the streets choose somebody over your girl, especially all this goodness, as good as I am, as sweet as I am. You got to be crazy. And so we were laughing. Thank you, Kevin Ransom, for sharing. I appreciate that. Mark, what's up? So we were cracking up laughing, and she was like, you are a nut. And so, but what if? And I said, you know, I really don't want to entertain what ifs. Now, everybody who knows me knows I am the queen of the what ifs, of the hypotheticals. And I was like, I can't be entertaining that foolishness like that. And she said, you know, but I want you to do that. I want you to really think about, you know, are you allowing yourself not to be happy? Absolutely. See, okay, if I'm not number one, I will not be number two. That's right. And so she said, well, I want you to think about it. I want you to think about it because people make mistakes. So are you saying that you're perfect? I said, no, I'm not saying that I'm perfect, but I am saying, though, that you can't be out here choosing nobody else over me. That is what I'm saying. And so she said, well, but what if he is extremely happy? You can be extremely happy with him. I said, you know, he's a good person. We have fun together. We're on one accord. I think we probably could be happy together. But reality is, I just can't do it. It would have to take an act of God coming down, passing out miracles, letting me know that, hey, this is who I got for you. And I got to be able to touch some holes to be able to see that, you know what, this is definitely the man who God has for me. And I know beyond a shadow of a doubt that God is saying that. Now, if I got any doubts, you can't just be choosing nobody else over me. I'm sorry. And so I wonder, you know, are we letting pride get in our way? You know, because in this case, I can definitely say, I don't know if he's for me or not. But I can say that if he is, then pride is definitely in the way. And pride can definitely be ruining my life because I'm not willing to turn and let my pride go in that particular instance. You know, and so I want to just ask you the question. I want you to think about
what you're doing in your life. I want you to think about the decisions that you're making. I want you to think about what is it that you need. I remember years ago, I was in high school, and I remember my guidance counselor lived right around the corner from me. And I rode to school with her until I got a car, until I was old enough to drive myself and I had my own vehicle. And so, is he on Periscope or Facebook? I don't know if he is or not, but hey, he'll be all right. I ain't saying nothing that I have not told him. And yes, guys, I do know proper grammar, but I am from Memphis, Tennessee, and so I like to be myself when I can be, and that is not always using the proper language. So don't even question whether or not I know how to speak. Absolutely, I do. But anyway, so I don't know if he's on Facebook or Periscope or not, but who the heck cares? Because I'm not saying anything I haven't told him, and I would not tell him. It is what it is, I have nothing to lose in that scenario. But I used to ride to school with my guidance counselor before I got my car when I turned 16. And so the interesting thing was, what if my mother would have said, I don't have a way to get you, because I really wanted to go to this one particular school. I don't have a way to get you there, and you can't go to that school. I believe that school made all the difference in my life. I believe being a Central Warrior taught me so much. I love being a Mustang because, I can see those more hard work and more determination and more dedication. That equals success. And that was our motto when I was on the track and the cross country team at East. But when I got to Central and having that true competitive spirit, East was competitive, but Central was like on the grind, like you had to bring it constantly. And so I wonder, though, if my mother and I could not have set our pride aside and asked this guidance counselor, who we didn't really know and have a relationship with, can I ride to school with you? Because I knew that she lived around the corner. And she was more, what would they have done? Because she was more than happy to have me to ride to school with her. The crazy thing is that when I got my license, I don't even know what happened with my car. Maybe it was in the shop or something. But I remember even driving her car on some days. And I remember us having some really great conversations. And, not too long ago, I've been out of school for years, but not too long ago, maybe a couple of months ago, I reached out and I talked to her, and I hadn't spoken with her in years. And she talked about, how she was so happy to have been able to be instrumental in my success. And she was so happy, absolutely a true blessing, to be able to see the young woman that my mother raised with me and my sister. And she was just so happy because of who my sister and I were. And, she was just grateful, and she expressed gratitude that I actually was a blessing to her, and she was happy to be able to participate in a young person's life. And, she was just amazingly humble and graceful. Even, 20 years later, I'm sure it's probably been more than 20 years later, but how many ever years it's been, and so I just wonder, what if we would have allowed pride to stand in the way? You could have damaged yourself. You could damage your life and your potential. But I want to caution you just to get out of your own way. I want to caution you to let go of pride, because it can lead to your destruction and your fall. It can hinder your success. It can definitely be detrimental to your happiness and your joy and your peace. Put it aside and decide that you are well worth taking the risk. And if you have to take the risk and you're disappointed, brush yourself off, get back up on the saddle, keep on riding, and realize that guess what? Somebody is going to be more than willing to help you. Somebody is going to be more than willing to be a blessing and an active participant in your life. And as people are helping you, I want to also caution you and encourage you to do the same thing for other people. I want you to look for people who you can actually help. And I believe when you're looking for people who you can help and be a blessing to, guess what? That when you're sowing those seeds, you're going to reap some good seeds as well. And so it may not be from those same people, but when you put yourself out there and you're willing to give of yourself, and you're willing to sacrifice and deny yourself and let your pride and your ego go, I know that you'll be rewarded, guys. I love you. I love you. I love you. You guys are absolutely the best Periscopers and Facebookers ever. I am so happy and honored and humbled that you guys kind of come and hang out with me, and that you're inviting other people to the scope who are interested in joining us together to create a movement of people who are looking to have a lifestyle of love, power, wealth, and freedom. I love you. I love you. I love you. I need you to do me a favor. Wrap your arms around yourself. Blow kisses in the mirror. And I want you to tell yourself that you love yourself. And not only do you love yourself, but I love you too. I'll see you guys back here tomorrow. If you're not following me on Periscope, this is where I hang out the majority of the time. So go to Periscope, follow, invite your friends, invite your haters, invite your mentors, invite your teachers, invite your family members, invite. Tell people all about this. Share, retweet, repost what we're talking about on this particular community. Let's grow this live together, grow this platform together, and create and change lives, create happy lives and change lives together. I can't do it without you. I certainly need your help. Go to SherilynPayne.com and also join the VIP Insiders Club. I love you guys. Have a super fantastic evening, and I will see you not only at the top, but back here tomorrow.